guys, my name is Lindsay and I'm doing my speech on cannibalism. In 2001, a German citizen by the name of Armin posted an ad online requesting an 18 to 30-year-old well-built male who would be alright with another man consuming him. Not only days later, another German citizen by the name of Bernd replied to the message, agreed to his terms, and agreed to meet Armin at his house. After consuming large amounts of alcohol and painkillers, the two men proceeded to cut off Bernd's penis, cook it in his own fat, and try to eat it. After deciding the penis was too chewy, they threw it away. Bernd climbed into a bathtub and bled out. Over the next couple hours, Armin hung Bernd, stripped all the flesh off of his body, and froze it, and proceeded to eat it over the next 2 weeks before he was arrested and sent to jail for cannibalism. Cannibalism, this is Armin and this is Bernd. They ate his penis. Cannibalism. Cannibalism has always been popular throughout history. There's actually pretty recent archaeological evidence of cannibalism from ancient times. They can tell by certain cuts and bite marks distinguished from other war weapons that were used in the bones of the deceased that they have dug up. Certain tribes of Indians like the Anastasies, Aztecs, and Fiji Indians actually used to eat members of their tribe, which is known as endocannibalism, which I'll go into later. Some of the reasons for ancient cannibalism, it started in some cultures as a sacrifice, kind of like a ritual to the gods, and it also may have occurred due to long periods of famine. This is a picture of Indians eating somebody from their own tribe. There are many reasons that cannibals, not only ancient cannibals, but cannibals today, get into cannibalism. One of the earlier reasons was because of their culture or rituals, like I just mentioned. It has always been a part of some cultures. There's two types of cannibalism, ritual cannibalism. There's endocannibalism and exocannibalism. Endocannibalism is when you eat someone of your own tribe, and it's more because the tribe thinks that if they eat the flesh of that person, they will gain the characteristics of that person, and it's kind of a sign of respect almost. Exocannibalism was more used for enemies, and in wars, certain tribes would eat victims. There's different symbolism related to cannibalism. Some is linked to the expression of the cultural values of ancient people and of life, reproduction, and regeneration. Flesh is consumed as a life-generating food. Flesh is kind of thought of as living food, so consuming it is like consuming that person and consuming life. It's also a symbol reaffirming the meaning of existence. This is actually a picture of, it's called Herxheim Deposit 9. They dug it up. These are all the remains of not only people but also animals that were cannibalized. This tribe used to have sacrificial ceremonies and just cannibalize hundreds of people at a time and eat them just because of what their culture was. And in this pit there were over 1,000 people cannibalized for the ritual. Another more common, more recent reason for cannibalism is psychosis. Psychosis is normally caused by nutrition or chemical deficiency, and the lack of chemicals in the brain cause people to be stimulation seeking, and over a long period of time they basically just become psychotic from this deficiency in their brain. It also blunts their emotions. there's a lack of activation in their prefrontal cortex, which is what controls emotions. So they basically can't control their emotions, and they feel that normal living just isn't enough, and they need some type of excitement. Their lack of emotional control causes them to lack a conscience, and they don't have any fear, and they don't feel bad about what they do. They don't feel bad about eating people. It's just another thing that they do. Cannibals also sometimes describe cannibalism as an addiction. They feel when they eat someone, they feel like they get euphoria, and they're not only addicted to the act of eating people, they're also addicted to the act of seeking out their prey and the thrill of catching them and eating them. And one of the most recent or most common forms of cannibalism is cannibalism for survival. A lot of cannibals kind of see it as like all species do it. It's Darwinism. At some point you're going to eat another member of your species, whether it be a frog or a kangaroo or a human. Cannibals also believe that there is a nutritional value in human flesh. They believe that if you eat another member of your same species, that since they have the same proteins, the same nutrients that you have inside of you, that it's better for you to eat people of the same species as you, because they have all the nutrients you need, and they have all the different chemicals in their body that you need. But this is actually proven that it's not true. They did prove, though, that human flesh has a very high protein value. So cannibals still think that it's okay because there is some nutritional value in it. It happens a lot in emergency situations. For instance, the Donner Party were settlers trying to migrate to California, and they ended up getting caught in the mountains and in the cold, and most of their party ended up dying, so they had to resort to eating them to stay alive. And it was kind of a question of ethics, if they should eat them or not, if they should let the rest of them die. A more recent example was the rugby team that was stranded in the Andes. Their plane went down, and they were stuck in the mountains, and they couldn't get help. So they started eating members of their team that had passed away in the accident or that had died from lack of food. Famine's a very common reason for people to practice cannibalism when they usually wouldn't. They ended up being stranded there for 72 days. This is a picture of them, like halfway through that. I don't know who was taking the picture. But, so as you can all see, cannibalism is a lot more common than most people think. It happens in a lot of different situations, not always because the person wants to be a cannibal, but sometimes it's not really a choice. It's survival. If they don't eat another person, they're not going to survive. But on a lighter note, the Armin in the beginning of the video that I showed you, he is now a vegetarian. Thanks, guys.